buzz this week around the long-awaited Helix Stadium XL, it got me looking at my own pedal board. See, every few years, new digital modeling comes out and it gets better. And suddenly, the stuff we already own starts to feel obsolete. But there's one Line 6 unit that never really fell behind, and in today's video, we're gonna talk about that unit, the Line 6 M9, so let's go. The M9 is a Stompbox modeler from 2009. It's effects only. That means no amps, no cab sims. All you get is delays, modulations, filters, reverbs, distortion. There's over 100 effects pulled from the classic green, blue, purple. I think there's a gold one. Line 6 boxes that we all grew up with. If you've used any of those pedals, the sounds in here will feel instantly familiar. Here's the layout. You get 6-foot switches. You can run 3 effects at a time. You get 6 scenes, basically 6 different pedal boards you can flip between. There's also a tuner, a looper, and everything is knob dependent, meaning whatever you dial in is exactly what you get when you step on it the next time. More on this later in the video. And speaking of tones from this era, every amp sound you're gonna hear in this video is coming from this pedal right here. This is the Tech 21 Liverpool, their take on a Vox AC30. The Vox AC30 is my favorite amp of all time. This pedal is completely analog. Unfortunately, it's discontinued, and honestly, it's a sleeper. I don't know why it isn't more popular, because it nails the chimey AC30 thing in a really simple way. Man, I might have to do a whole video on this pedal at some point. Let me know down in the comments below. All right, that is the setup we are using today, and I'm gonna show you exactly why the Line 6 M9 still kicks ass. In my opinion, the M9 still holds up today for 4 simple reasons. Number 1, it's fast. You can pull up a delay, reverb, chorus, whatever effect, and you're basically ready to play. There's no deep menu diving. You turn it on, you twist a few knobs, and you're in the zone. For live players or home players who just want to make music at home, speed matters, and you are getting that with this unit. Reason number 2, the effects come from the legendary Line 6 boxes we all grew up with. Remember the DL4 delay, that green box, the MM4 mod, the FM4 filters, the Verbzilla reverbs, all of those pedals are in this unit. So if you've used Line 6 products in the past and maybe you haven't used them in a while, when you dial up an effect, it's gonna instantly sound and feel familiar. These are sounds people have used on records and gigs for years and decades at this point, including myself. And the funny thing, this also leads to one part of the M9 that hasn't aged well. I'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. But reason number 3 that this thing holds up well is it's simple and dependable. No updates, no drivers, no apps. All the effects inside this box is what you get. And because of that, it still works perfectly today, exactly like it did in 2009. That kind of stability almost doesn't exist anymore. And reason number 4, this thing still kicks ass today is because it is proven. Nashville session players keep M9s on their boards because they're predictable, easy, and rock solid. Mason from Vertex Effects even mentioned this in a previous video of his. Players like Tom Bukovac still using this units. And honestly, when guys at that level still trust the pedal this old, it tells you something. But as I mentioned earlier, there is one thing inside the M9 that has not ever been great, and that's what we need to talk about next. let's talk about the limitations of this pedal. Let's face it, it's getting older and we need to talk about the bad things about it. Now, obviously the M9 isn't perfect. The limitation, we talked about it previously, is that it's a closed box. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what you get is what you get inside. There's no USB, there's no new firmware. That means there's no new pedals or engines coming down the road from line 6 like we've been used to, like on the Helix or the HX Stomp era of pedals. If you're not familiar with the Helix and the HX Stomp models, line 6 has been awesome with updating the firmware and even the engine. I was watching this interview recently and they've said in the 10 years that the Helix and HX Stomp has been around, they've updated the firmware multiple times and they've updated the engine at least 3 times, which is crazy. So with the M9, we are not gonna get those updates. And in my opinion, the big limiting factor of this pedal is the overdrive distortion section kind of sucks. Now, this isn't a new thing. They weren't great back in the day and they definitely have not aged well. Generally speaking, I find their overdrive and distortion fizzy, flat, and kind of lifeless. This, of course, was a common complaint with this pedal and M series even back in the day. But what's crazy is even with all these limitations, the M9, I don't think never became obsolete. They just stopped making it. And the reason why, in my opinion, it never became obsolete is because it never broke from a Mac OS update. It never needed a new driver that disappeared. It never relied on a computer editor or an app on your phone, which to me is the most annoying thing and most un-rock and roll thing. There's nothing more un-rock and roll than rolling up to a gig or to a session and you want to pull up a sound and you have to open up your phone and say, hey guys, I got to pull up a tube screamer on here. To me, that takes away from the experience of the gear when you have to pull up an app to find a sound that works. The M9 today is exactly like it was in 2009. You plug it in and it works exactly the same. No drama, no updates, no headaches. It's good to go. Now, for all my dudes out there wondering, AJ, what about the crap overdrives and distortion? Well, I have a simple solution. Put your favorite overdrive or overdrive pedals, plural, in front of the M9 and this thing comes alive. This unit takes drive pedals incredibly well. Some overdrive pedals that I recommend are the EP Booster. I made videos about that. You can find them on this channel. I've recently picked up this Boss OD3. This thing is badass. And my friend Scott recently made me this pedal. This is an OCD clone. He's calling it anxiety disorder. Put these two together and you have a sick drive session along with your delays, reverbs, and modulation from the M9. So the big question is the M9 obsolete? And in my opinion, and as I've mentioned all over this video, no, it's not obsolete. And the sick part is if you see one of these on Facebook Marketplace or on Reverb, they're extremely affordable. So if you want a no-nonsense effects box that just works every single time, grab this. I can't recommend enough because you are not gonna regret it. Speaking of old gear that still kills to this day, the Boss DS1 is another one of those pedals that refuses to go away. I made a full video about it. You can watch it right here. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.